celebrities. And here to catch you up on the hot Hollywood headlines you might have missed over the holiday weekend is Kiss FM radio host Shelley Wade.
Shelley, you guys look gorgeous.
Are we? Everybody says.
We got a pretty party going on.
Shelley Wade is one of the country's top radio air personalities. She's based in San Diego. Shelley, thanks for joining me.
Hi, Carol. Thanks for having me.
That's right. It's time to get down here to my sister.
Give it up for the king from the wedding ringer. Saying to Kevin on the red carpet that the Martin Luther King holiday weekend has turned out to be your weekend, much like Will Smith's weekend was the July 4th weekend. This is Kevin's weekend.
It's shaping up. I hope so.
Here at the Billboard Women in Music Awards here. You always give me a kiss. With Lady Gaga, who grew up listening to me.
No, I was a big fan. I still am.
Hi, Randy.
Thank you, Miss Wade. Can I call you Shelley?
Yeah, Shelley. Shelley's fine.
Cool.
Yeah,
cool.
let's get right into it. So, as we speak, you're in Los Angeles?
No, I'm in Las Vegas.
Really?
I'm in Las Vegas. Yeah, I live in Las Vegas.
Okay, so that's your spot now, huh?
Yeah. Well, I used to live in LA. I lived in LA for years, and especially back when I was on MCA years ago in the 1980s. So I moved to Las Vegas, sunny Las Vegas, and believe it or not, it's raining and about 38 degrees.
I know,
in Las Vegas right now. Yeah.
You know how they say it never rains in Southern California? That is a lie, Tony. That is a lie.
Yeah, exactly.
Are you guys getting the same kind of winds that we're getting? Because out on my patio right now, my umbrella fell, my table fell, my bed fell. It's a crazy wind out there. Is it like that in Vegas?
It is. It's like that in Vegas too. It's like that in Vegas too. But you know what? I love this weather because I'm from Chicago. And I'm used to having a little winter, a little snow. And it's always just sunny and hot here. So I'm really enjoying having just, some of the elements, some rain, some wind. It's beautiful. I love it.
When I was reading about your story, I felt like it kind of, I don't want to say mirrored, but you have a lot of the same journeys that one of my favorite artists of all time, Nat King Cole, had. Of course, it's originally from Alabama, I believe, but he grew up in Chicago. He's jazz pianist, and I understand, of course, guitar is your main instrument, but I know you started playing piano.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I started playing piano, and I'm glad I did because piano really it gives you all the basics of music. You learn chords, you learn melody, you learn structure, and from the piano, it was easy for me to adapt instruments because in the high school band, I played trumpet.
Oh, wow.
So, I played trumpet in the high school
Multi-instrumentalist.
Yeah.
How many instruments do you play?
Probably about, maybe, I don't know, just about all of them, maybe.
Wow.
Well, I mean, I've had experiences with woodwinds, brass, all instruments, all the piano. I'm not that great of a drummer, though. But I keep good time with the drum machine.
Yeah. Your main instrument is guitar. It's my favorite instrument. Do you have a favorite kind of guitar that you like to play? Would you prefer acoustic or electric? And
well, you know what? I kind of really get off on both of them. The acoustic guitar to me is very personal because it's not electric, and whatever you play, the acoustic guitar, it vibrates on your stomach. Vibration and your feeling together. it makes me play. I might play a little different with the acoustic guitar, with the electric guitar.
So you feel like
But
it's part of you because you're feeling the vibration.
Yeah. You know, it's almost like you can feel your heartbeat with it. You know,
I love
yeah.
that.
I remember Marvin Gaye was. They were asking Marvin Gaye how come all of his songs are almost in the same tempo. You know, if it wasn't slow songs, but most of his mid-tempo tempos the same tempo. And he said because he always went by, he would put his hand on his heart and he would feel the beat. So he would make the tempo song his heartbeat. So, you know, you can't get any more personal than that.
I love that. So he's obviously very chill because most of his songs are very chill.
Yeah, I mean, maybe that's why you feel them like that, you know?
Yeah, you know what? That's a really great point, Randy. That's a great point. You know, you were talking about Marvin Gaye. You have worked, you know, other than, you know, your solo music, you've worked with some legends. Miles Davis, the Staple Singers. And you got started at a really young age, what, like 15 or 16 or so?
Yeah, like I was playing in the clubs at 15 years old.
How'd you finagle that? How'd you finagle that?
I don't know. You know, I remember I was playing in the clubs, and I was this real guy. I mean, I'm still a kid basically. And I remember I was playing, and all these grown women would come up and try to talk to me, and it just scared me to death. I was like, what? You know, I'm just some of the experiences, and then people trying to buy me drinks and all that kind of stuff. It was fun for me. It was great. And I would play. They had this one it was like a big lounge, but they had a lot of seats there, and all the greats would come and play there, like Kool and the Gang, and just all the great bands would come to this place. It's called the High Chaparral in Chicago. And I remember that was my dream when I was a kid, to play in the Chaparral, just to play in the High Chaparral, you know. And I got there at 15 years old. So it was great. And we warmed up, check this out, we warmed up for Kool and the Gang.
Wow.
We warmed up for Kool and the Gang. And I was scared, I was ready. I was just really happy. I'm actually playing before Kool and the Gang. So we played and we were good. But then Kool and the Gang came out, and they had on looked like $1 million outfits, and they had all the routines. They kind of blew us off the stage. But still, it was just a great experience. It was a great experience.
And again, you experienced so much at a young age. I was reading that you sang on Miles Davis's album. You know, you worked with him prior to that, but you sang on an album.
Yeah.
It was a rare occurrence that he would have someone sing on his tracks. And so how that out that he trusted you, you know, with that honor. And well, I have a follow-up question after you answer that one. Well, we were doing the Man with the Horn album. Miles's nephew, Vince, is from Chicago. And we grew up together, and we were playing the same bands since we were kids. And so Miles' sister, Dorothy, his mom, would take the phone. And I remember we played down in the basement. And so she had those real long cords, because, you know, we didn't have cell phones back then. She had one of the real long cords that would stretch from the kitchen all the way into the basement, like it was like 30 feet long, right? Because, you know, that's what we had to do back then. Yeah.
And she would put the phone like this and just hold the phone like that and just let Miles, and Miles would want to listen to us.
Oh, wow.
So yeah. And I mean, we were like 14,
See, he was
15.
in y'all's music as you were kids.
Yeah.
Were you aware at the time that he was listening in?
Yeah. I knew he was listening. And so he would tell us, you know, hey, he would give us directions over the phone. You know, hey, turn that guitar down, Randy. Just give us directions on what to do with the music. And then I guess we started sounding really good to him. By the time I was 19, it took us 3 to get good enough. 19, we started good to him. Said, you know what? Why don't you guys come to New York and make a record? Yeah. So we came there to make a record for our band. But
Okay.
after we got in rehearsals, he was like, wait a minute, this stuff is sounding really great. I want you guys to play my record. So this was his comeback record because Miles had went into like exile for like 5 years. And you hadn't heard anything from him. People were like, when is Miles gonna come back? So we were the band that really brought Miles Davis back out of retirement.
So
And that was the album Man with the Horn.
I would argue that you gave him inspiration then.
Yeah, we did. We did give him inspiration because he was excited. He was excited because we were excited. And we came there every day, and Miles would have like a spread of just all kinds of food. And I remember it was this place in Victor's, and they had the best Cuban food.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, being a young guy from Chicago, you know, not really in the hood, but we were like middle class hood guys.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't have Cuban restaurants.
Yeah.
So I remember, man, I'm eating Cuban food and all this incredible food, and Miles Davis. I was like, I'm in heaven. Like, it doesn't get any better than this.
Sounds good eating and good music.
Oh yeah, we were with, you know, CBS Records, and it was just, and we were in limos. I remember we got picked up in a limo, and all of a sudden I started talking like England or something. I don't know what I was thinking. You know, we were just partying. We were just having a great time. It was wonderful.
Well, you just assume that this is what when people who ride in limos, they speak with British accent. Of course. And did you ask them to pass the Grey Poupon?
Right. Hey, pass the Grey Poupon.
So I guess, Mike, the follow-up question to that would be, if you are getting started in such a, you know, you already had this amazing, these amazing things happen when you were in Chicago, and then you moved to New York and you're working with Miles Davis. I mean, how do you top that? It's like you start, you know, with those huge things at the beginning of your career. It's like, do you feel the pressure to top that?
You know, I just felt like I was going to go from there and just do it. You know,
say that again. You know how these connections are. They're a little sketchy sometimes. You said you felt like you were going to go from there and what?
Can you hear me now?
I could hear you, but you know how these calls, these Zoom calls, sometimes go in and out.
I just felt like I wanted to. My ultimate goal was always to do my
your own music. Okay.
Yeah, or record with. So that was the ultimate goal. But I was just enjoying working with Miles, being with, you know, I mean, we even when we're not making music, we're just sitting on the couch all day, just hanging out with him, you know, and he's getting phone calls from Clint Eastwood. Marvin. Yeah.
Well, you know, I guess, you know, that makes sense because Clint Eastwood is a huge jazz fan and a pianist himself.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
He's John Lennon. He's talking to, you know, and then he'll like to John, and he'll say, "Hey, Red, he hand me the phone." I'm like,
wait, what?
I mean, it was just fun like that. It was incredible.
Was this in Harlem?
Incredible experience.
Was it Harlem?
No, he was in Manhattan. Yeah.
But Harlem is northern Manhattan. So he was
West 77th Street.
Okay, so he was the Upper West Side.
He had a brownstone in Manhattan on West 77th
Oh my
Street.
God, I love
In fact, named the street after him. I think in 1991 or 92, after he had passed.
I had no clue. You know, I lived in New York for 12 years, and I didn't know that. I pride myself in knowing a lot about New York, and I didn't know that. When I go back, I'll have to look for Miles Davis Street, was it?
Yeah, it's Miles Davis Street.
Okay, I'll make sure I look for that. So you said your ultimate goal was to, you know, have your solo career, and you did, and you had some hits. Tell us about that. You know, the song that comes to mind for me, and you know, growing up and hearing your music was "I've been watching you so long." That was damn.
I should have put you on the background vocals.
Well, you know, I grew up wanting to be a Grammy Award-winning singer, so I do sing.
You'll make it. But I was, well, you know, I hooked up with Ray Parker Jr.
Yeah.
in fact, let me tell you the story about how I hooked up with Ray Parker Jr.
Okay.
Okay. Ever heard the group Weather Report?
I've heard of them, yeah. I
Okay,
can't say
have
I
you
know
ever heard
a
of?
lot about them, but I've heard of them.
Yeah. Have you ever heard of Jaco Pastorius, Wayne Shorter, Joe
Wayne Shorter,
Zawinul?
yeah.
Okay, well, Wayne Shorter and his wife, Anna,
Hmm.
she became really close to me. In fact, I was moving to LA from Chicago,
Hmm.
and Miles called Anna, and he said, "Anna, Randy Hall's coming out there, so kind of look out after him for me,"
Hmm.
which was like a cool thing.
Hmm.
And through Anna, she introduced me to Wayne Shorter's management company, which was Cavallo, Ruffalo, and Fargnoli.
Okay.
Now, Cavallo, Ruffalo, and Fargnoli, the management company, was managing Prince,
Oh, wow.
The Time, Sheila E.,
Wow.
Earth, Wind, and Fire, and Ray Parker Jr.
Oh, wow. I never knew
So
they had the same management company. Okay.
they all had the same manager, Cavallo, Ruffalo, and Fargnoli. If you look at any of the old Prince albums, you'll see management, Cavallo, Ruffalo, and Fargnoli.
Yeah,
These
I was
three
about to
Italian
say,
guys.
I think I
Yeah.
remember their name on his album
Yeah,
because he's my
yeah.
favorite artist
Well,
of all time. So I remember
oh, great.
their names,
Yeah,
his albums. Now that you mentioned,
right.
okay. So how
So,
you got introduced?
so I said, hey, you know what? Let's have a meeting with Randy Hall. So
Mhm.
I met with the managers, and they were like, hey, we really we think that you do, you really are different because you kind of jazzy, but you kind of funky and stuff like that. So they signed me, and they thought that the producer for me to kind of introduce me would be Ray Parker Jr.
Oh, wow.
So that's how Ray Parker Jr. became my producer.
Okay, and he's
Yeah.
producing you. He's
And
in your videos.
yeah, right. I mean, he was my foe in my video of I've been watching. We were fighting over this girl. If you remember the video,
Yeah.
and so yeah, so
But I do want to know the story about how'd you come up with a song? Did you write this song of you having a thing for your best friend's girl? Did you write that?
yeah,
Was that
yeah.
was that based on a true story?
Well, no, I would never do that to a friend.
Okay.
I would never do that to a friend.
No,
But
Randy,
I
you
wrote
paused for a little
yeah.
bit. You paused. Oh no.
I may have looked at it a little bit, like, but no, I would never do that.
Okay.
But I wrote that song with Bobby Irvin, the guy that I wrote The Man with the Horn with for Miles Davis.
Okay.
So I wrote that song But I wanted a story song. I wanted to write a total story from the beginning to the end. And so that's how that song came up about Jamie's Girl. Yeah.
Okay.
A lot of people call it Jamie's Girl,
Yeah.
I fell in love with Jamie's Girl, so.
And so you had the hit with your first album. How many hits did you have?
Yeah.
And tell me about
Well,
exciting.
I had a song in that album called Gentleman. Every Lady Really Wants a Gentleman. The hit too. That did really well for me also.
And so how was the experience? I know that you are popular all over the world, because of your music. And I read the story that, now, we're having this conversation now because you have new music that you want to share, with the American people. And so I understand that came about because you were contacted by a fan in the UK.
I was contacted by a guy who had a record label. His name is Neil Pounds. And Neil Pounds had a record label. Well, he has a record label called 6ix9ine Records. So he contacted me. But, before that even happened, I had another album after that did well, too. It was, the album was called Love You Like a Stranger. And the hit off of that album was called Slow Starter. And that did really well, too. It was a top 20 song. So
was it
well.
all in the 80s or?
This was
You say that again?
Around the end of the 80s. Around the end of the 80s. Yeah.
And so this guy,
going into the 90s. Going into the 90s.
Because your music was so successful in the UK, he remembered you and reached out to you.
Yeah, he reached out. You know what story? I went from my second record, and what happened was my father had passed. A lot of things happened in my life.
Mhm.
You know, a lot of things that happened in my life. You know, we all go through changes and things in our lives.
Mhm.
And I didn't record, but I started producing people, and I started working at Death Row Records of all places.
Wow, you worked with Suge?
Yeah, yeah, I was
Sure,
working
you
with
got some
Suge.
stories.
Yeah, I got some real stories.
Mm. Mm.
But you know, I didn't have. You know what? I didn't have a bad experience with him.
Okay.
You know, and you know, I mean, I know there was some things that went down, but you know, I could say there was some really positive things about him also too. You know, but I was there. Dr. Dre had left,
Okay.
and Tupac was there, and Snoop Dogg was still there, and they had just signed MC Hammer.
Wow.
And
Oh my God, I forgot that Hammer was with them.
yeah,
I
yeah,
can,
yeah, just signed MC Hammer.
wow.
And so before I got with Miles, I was with this great piano player called Ramsey Lewis. You ever
Oh,
heard Ramsey Lewis?
legendary Ramsey Lewis. Of
Yeah,
course.
I wrote songs for him. I did an album called Three Piece Suite with Ramsey Lewis. And I mean, I'm a kid doing this stuff. I'm like 19 years old.
Mhm.
So anyway, Ramsey Lewis his name is Kevin, and may he rest in peace. He passed about 2 years ago. Ramsey Lewis's son was working for Death Row, and he said, "Hey, Randy, why don't you come over to Death Row and work with us?" And I'm like, Death Row record, like, let me think about that. But when he showed me how much money I would be making, I said, "Okay." You know? but it was such a wild experience because you know you go up and we record this place called Can-Am Studios, and you go in there, and it's the first studio that where you walk in, they got a metal detector.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Some shenanigans might be going down, huh?
yeah, and I was like, okay, this is a little different. So, and the thing is that I noticed that there was a bin there, and it was guns in the bin. So you would have to check because you had so many some of the artists were from gangs. So you would have to check your gun at the front of the studio, and they would tag your gun. Yeah.
Check your gun.
And it was dogs in the studio. I'm like, I've been in the studio where you got pit bulls and Doberman pinchers. And so it was just a real wild experience working at Death Row. You know.
Do you have any interesting Tupac stories?
The only thing I could tell you about Tupac is this, and I worked on some songs for Tupac and Snoop Dogg. They wanted me because I do horn and string arrangements. Okay. And during that time, Suge was trying to do something really different that too bad that it never happened because when Tupac got killed, they kind of destroyed everything. Okay. He was trying to make Death Row into the next Motown. So he signed female groups. He had a male group called 6ix9ine, where all the guys were really like almost 6'9". I mean, they were tall guys. They were great. He had this, and he was trying to make it into a legitimate like Motown.
Okay.
So we were doing music with string arrangements, with horn arrangements. I mean, and the music was fantastic. Excuse me. And I just, this is just too bad that this stuff never came out. So hopefully, maybe it's got in the bin. If he didn't sell it all, it could be released because it was great music.
Yeah, stuff in the Death Row vault that we might appreciate.
Yeah. So, okay. Yeah, but I remember I walked into Tupac's session, and he was behind the glass, and he was, and the groove was happening, and he was rapping, and I noticed he didn't have any paper in front of him, lyrics, and I was like, this cat is doing this without no lyrics in front of him. I mean, I guess he memorized it or whatever.
Yeah.
But I said, this cat is pure genius. He is pure genius.
He really
and he was fast. and he wanted to work and get it done and get it
Mhm.
out the way. He was like, okay, I don't care about all the arrangements. I know you musicians, y'all want to put the guitars on and put all this on. Let me just put my stuff on and let's just keep it moving. And then it came to me later. I said, I was wondering, did he think that something was going to happen to him? Did he just want to get himself on all this stuff? And I mean, in a basic form,
Yeah.
just to have his voice there, and then you come in and you put all this other arrangement on it.
Yeah.
It was amazing. He was amazing.
You just have to
I-
wonder, to your point, because even when he passed away, they were releasing all of this music from him, and some of the lyrics,
Yeah.
lyrics almost mirrored what happened to him. So it's like you do have to wonder if he, really thought of it.
Yeah. I mean, I've been around some people. The word genius is a loosely used term. But I could say, watching Miles and watching Tupac, that I was seeing real genius.
Wow.
Real genius.
Okay. Okay,
Yeah.
so let's talk about you though. And you were saying that
okay.
you went to death row, and you were telling me what happened in the in between time and in the
Yeah.
meantime.
Mm-hmm.
So as you were,
Yeah.
please continue to tell
And
us.
then after that, I decided to move to Las Vegas.
Mhm.
I kind of just got tired of LA.
Yeah.
I just got tired of LA, and I wanted to work. I
Mhm.
wanted to work and still continue. I have a family now,
Mhm.
and I want to buy a home, and I want to be able to buy a home for half the price that I would buy a home in LA with. So I saw like 4,000, 5,000 square foot houses in Vegas for half the price of the ones in LA.
Yeah.
And then I had an artist that I was playing, and she was fantastic.
Mhm.
And we had investors and a lot of money and things coming in. So we decided, to move just to Vegas, just to start fresh and anew.
Okay.
And I was able, when I wasn't going on the road and doing things, I was able to work in the casinos and make money and provide a lifestyle and send kids to college and buy cars and buy houses. I look back at a lot of artists who were around the same time that I was around in the 80s. And a lot of them, they don't own homes, they don't have retirement, they don't have nothing going on,
Mhm.
So this was really a fantastic for me to come to Vegas.
Yeah. And so we're going to talk about, well, first of all, tell us about your new music. Tell
Mm-hmm.
the All the Rage with Shelley Wade listeners and viewers what you need them to know about your new music, and why you, what's your inspiration and where they can get it and all that good stuff.
Okay. Well, my latest song that's out now is a song called A Beautiful Dream.
Mm-hmm.
And the song is really like a woman empowerment song. And basically what it's saying is that, no matter what you've gone through, no matter how much money you have financially read, this song is saying how women have been able to make it. Our moms, our grandmothers, our aunties, they coins and rub together to make a meal for their families.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that because of that, you are a beautiful dream. No, it doesn't. I mean, all that doesn't matter. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder, but I believe that all women are beautiful. Just look at, I think about my mom. My mom was able to take a little bit and make a lot out of it.
Mm-hmm.
So many moms, you have a lot of single moms. They just, they struggle, but they feed their kids. They make sure that you become a better adult. You become a good adult. So it's just an appreciation song to all the world, no matter what you've gone through, no matter whatever you faced in life, you are still a beautiful dream. That's what the song is about.
Randy, your mother raised you well. You understand the beauty of women. We appreciate you.
Oh, thank you.
So,
Thank you. Yes, she did. I had a wonderful relationship with my mom and my dad too, but it's about being healthy. It's all about having that healthy relationship.
Okay, so we're going to play the song. The song's going to play us out. But before that, I want to ask you, about 10
Okay.
questions what I like about these questions is I think, aside from what we've learned about you so far during the interview,
Okay.
I think these questions, let the listeners and viewers know you even more intimately. So your honest
Okay.
answers to the questions. And here we go. The first one. What was your favorite toy when you were a kid, Randy?
Fire truck.
Your fire truck? Aw. Yeah, that's a good little boy toy.
Yeah. I think I liked it the best only because it was red, of the color red.
Yeah, red.
And I had a red fire truck. Yeah.
Okay, question 2. What did you want to be when you were growing up? And I'm sure you've already answered that. Aside from being a musician, did you want to be anything else?
Mm-hmm. No, I want
You've
to be
always
Elvis.
been music.
I want to be Elvis Presley.
Really?
You know what? I remember Elvis Presley, Michael Jackson, and the Beatles. And I said, I want to be one of those 3.
Okay, those are some good
So
ones.
maybe I'm all of them. I don't...
So it was always going to be music. All right. Okay, question
Yeah.
3. What's your favorite song of all time, aside from your song?
My favorite song of all time is probably My Cherie Amour by Stevie Wonder.
How much do we love Stevie? Oh my God.
Oh, I love Stevie. Hey, still doing it. I
I
just
know.
love that. I just
You
love
can't go
that.
wrong
Yeah.
with a Stevie song. You
Yeah.
can't. That's a good,
No.
good choice. Question 4. Who's your favorite artist of all time?
Marvin Gaye.
Oh, nice.
See, I still even got the finished sentence out of your mouth. I love Gaye. I mean, Marvin Gaye to me is a performer who had everything, who did everything.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was, not only was he a really great singer, but a great producer, and he was a heartthrob.
Right. Yeah,
Yeah.
just incredible writer, and just you could just feel everything he did. He was just the greatest of all time for me.
Yeah, and I love the story
Mhm.
about how he put his hand on his heart when he was doing his music, and that's why it had that same kind of vibe to most of the songs.
Yeah,
Same tempo. I love that. I've never heard that story.
yeah,
Okay, so
yes.
question. What's your favorite movie of all time?
The Godfather. You know why? Because when I watched The Godfather 1, 2, and 3, I learned something. I've 100 times, and 100 times I learned something new.
So it doesn't matter how many times you watch it, you're learning something new.
You learn something new. Yeah, yeah. It's the truth in The Godfather.
Okay. So do you have a favorite actor, actress of all time?
Favorite actor might be Denzel.
That's a good
Yeah,
choice.
I love Denzel. I love Denzel. I mean, he's walking.
Yeah, I mean, I'm loving all of your answers so far.
Okay.
Good thing. What's your favorite sport?
My favorite sport is ages, but my favorite sport is boxing.
Oh, really? Okay. Well, you're in
Yeah.
perfect place for it in Vegas.
Yeah. Yeah. My favorite sport is boxing.
Okay. I remember the one and only boxing, what do you call it? Match that I went to
Yeah.
was I don't know if it was the late 90s or early 2000s, but it was Roy Jones Jr. and oh my God, I can't think of his name. He's the biggest one right now. Aside from Conor McGregor, what's the other was name? Floyd Mayweather.
Oh,
Floyd
yeah.
Mayweather and Roy Jones Jr.
Well, wait, I think they ever fought.
Yeah, no.
Never fought.
Well, okay. I'm telling you, it's not my favorite. It's not my favorite sport. But they were they were there. I don't know if they were on the same ticket, but they were there together. I remember because we were invited by Mayweather's manager at the time, which was Little J. Rap-A-Lot Records. And so Roy Jones Jr. was there, and he invited us to his hotel room and played some music for us. And
wow,
and
that was a treat.
And then afterwards we went to the Mayweather fight, and I can't remember who he fought. Right. They didn't fight. Actually, they did not fight. So you're right. So true.
No, they didn't fight yet.
Boxing fan, you already knew that. Okay, so question 8. If you had a choice, what would your last meal ever be?
Fried chicken with fried and maybe a piece with rice, greens, fried corn, and some macaroni cheese. And you say my last meal, so I got
Good old down home soul food.
Yeah. Oh yeah, nothing like it.
Fried?
You can't beat it.
You're making me want to
Can't
try
beat
it
it.
right now.
You can't beat it. Yeah.
Okay, number 9. What's the first thing you do when you wake up in the morning, Randy?
Thank God that I lived another day.
Yay.
Thank
And
God that I lived another day. Thank you, God.
praise God. Finally, what's the last thing you do before you go to bed?
Thank God I lived another day.
Aw, I love it. Your answers are so perfect.
Well, it's real. It's real.
So, is there anywhere, like your social media, your website, anything you want to share with us?
Yeah, you can find me on, it's real easy, on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter, Randy Hall Music. That's it.
Music. Okay.
Yeah.
And play us out. Introduce your new song, your latest song.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, especially to you ladies, this song is especially for you. It's coming from love, from the deepest part of my heart. This is for you. You are a beautiful dream.
Hey, ladies. Come on. Can I talk to you? My love, he broke your heart and left you alone. But you faced the trials of love so strong. You picked yourself up, you moved on. Girl, gone. Even though your pockets are a little hurt, you put your coins together, you make it work. So much pressure, you feel like you could scream. No matter how bad it seems, you a beautiful dream. You keep your life so tight. No matter how hard the fight. Yeah. Let's celebrate your life tonight. Hard times, you need someone and they're not around. When life had you down, you held your ground. No compromise, your lines weren't blurred. You kept believing the word. So blessed, you were crowned a queen from your birth. It's impossible to measure your worth. I treasure you from the sun to the earth. Girl, you know what I mean. You a beautiful dream. You keep your life so tight. No matter how hard never ever lose that love. Never, never. Of yourself and the heavens above. Blessed you every day with love. Girl, you know it. You're a beautiful dream. You keep it, your life so tight. No matter how hot the fight. Let's celebrate your life tonight. You're a beautiful dream. You keep it, your life so tight. I respect your hustle. No matter how hot the fight. You paid the cost. Let's celebrate your life tonight. Now it's time to be the boss.